carry you through your life as a bird flies in the air, undoubtingly. Only remember one thing: when once you fling yourself on the great life of nature, the force that keeps the world in motion and our pulses beating, and which has within it, in its heart, a supreme and awful power, once having done that, you can never again claim back your life. You must let yourself swing with the motion of the spheres. You must live for other men and with them, not for or with yourself. You will do this, I'm sure. Yes, Vibhaji, please go ahead.
Namaste, good evening to everybody. Thank you, Vimalji, and a very warm welcome to all of you, dear brothers and sisters. So once again, we gather here to continue with the Mahatma letter number 67, which was written by Mahatma KH to A.O. Hume. And before I begin, I would like to summarize what we have done in the last session. That was our second session. Just a moment. Okay, so in this letter, which was written by Mahatma KH in July 1882 to A.O. Hume, and Hume had these questions about whether every particle of matter, it contains that spirit which has the potential to become a planetary spirit. And he asks what happens to that spirit, the germ in every entity, in case it is not able to reach the stage of human and a pralay commences. So these type of questions he has been asking. And then Mahatmaji tells him that unless you don't understand the working of the one element, it will be difficult for you to understand what he's explaining about these entities, and that the germ in every entity which has the potential to become a planetary spirit. So in the last session, we have seen Mahatmaji spoke about the eternal, immutable one element, and everything emanates from that. But that one element, it does not change in quantity or quality. And to make Hume understand, he explained it mathematically. He called the elements, the cosmic elements, earth, water, air, fire, and ether as A, B, C, D, E. And then he called the sixth cosmic principle as N. So the 5 cosmic elements, which we know as the Panchamahabhut, the sixth one, he called it N. And plus there is an energizing impulse from the eternal immutable principle that he called as Y. So all these 6 principles plus the energizing principle, together they are equal to the one element X. So this he wrote in a mathematical equation form. And he also mentioned that each of these 6 letters, they represent the spirit or the abstraction of the cosmic elements. So you must have read or must know that there is no blind force in nature. Every force, every principle, at the head of it is an intelligent, conscious spirit. So these letters in that equation of that Panchamahabhut and the 6th principle and the energizing impulse, they represent the spirit of those elements. And throughout the Manvantar, the phenomenal manifestation of each element on all the planes, it is controlled by the spirit of that element. Then further, we are told that every element is septenary. It manifests on each of the 7 planes. And on every plane, again, its manifestation is also septenary. So 7 into 7, 49. And particularly, we've seen the example of the fire element. Then ultimately, in their origin, the mineral kingdom of Earth, in its ultimate origin, it is also made up of these primary cosmic material, that is the cosmic elements. And thus, there is no doubt that a mineral contains in it the spark of the one element as everything else does in nature. So there is no doubt about this. Mahatma Ji is trying to emphasize this point to Hume. Further, he explained the three kinds of pralay, the solar pralay. The first is the highest or the most, which encompasses everything, that is the universal pralay. Then comes the solar pralay, and then the planetary pralays. And then he goes on to explain what will happen to the spirit which has not yet reached the stage of man when the pralay occurs. So with this, now we'll start our third session today. And please allow me to share my slides with you. So this we've already completed up to slide number 23. Okay. This is what we had seen last time, that after each solar pralay, there is a complete destruction of our system. And after each solar pralay begins the absolute objective reformation of our system. And each time everything is more perfect than before. So in the new solar system, a reformation has to take place. Then now in the new solar system, that is after the solar pralay, when the life impulse reaches A, or rather that which is destined to become A, and which so far is but cosmic dust, a center is formed in the nebulous matter of the condensation of the solar dust, decimated through space, and a series of three evolutions, invisible to the eye of flesh, occur in succession. The three kingdoms of elementals or nature forces are evoluted. In other words, the animal soul of the future globe is formed, or as the Kabbalist will express it, the gnomes, the salamanders, and the undines are created. So after the solar pralay takes place, after the period of pralay, the solar manvantar begins. And the planetary chains, they must arise from the state of pralay into objectivity. Now, in the new solar system, the life impulse, it reaches the region in the solar system where the first globe, A, has to form. And here the solar dust, it is fiery, it is incandescent, and it is nebulous, meaning it doesn't have any definite shape. Then due to this life impulse, the three elemental kingdoms will evolve here. The Kabbalists have called it the elementals of the earth. They are called gnomes. The elementals of fire, they are called salamanders. And the elementals of water, they are called undines. Now these elementals are semi-intelligent forces of nature. They are made up of the essence of that plane. And these beings, they form the animal soul of the future globe. The correspondence between a mother globe and her child man may be thus worked out. Both have their 7 principles. In the globe, the elementals, of which there are in all 7 species, form a gross body, her fluidic double, that is the Linga Sharir, the life principle, that is the Jeev. Her 4th principle, Kamrup, is formed by her creative impulse working from center to circumference. Her 5th principle, that is animal soul or manas, physical intelligence, is embodied in the vegetable in germ and animal kingdoms. Her 6th principle or spiritual soul buddhi is man. And her 7th principle, Atma, is in a film of spiritualized Akash that surrounds her. So just like man has his 7 principles, the planet, that is our Earth, also has its 7 principles. Theosophy tells us that everything in the universe is septenary. So for the globe, for our Earth specifically, its first 3 principles of Earth, they are formed by the elemental kingdoms. Total, there are 7 types of elementals. Here we have been told about 3. We also know that there is the elemental of air, which is called the sylph. So these 3 elemental types, that is the elementals of earth, water, and fire, they form her gross body. So gross body is the physical earth, which is formed by the elementals of earth. Then the fluidic double or the linga sharir of earth, that is formed by the elementals of water. And her life principle, it is formed by the elementals of fire. Then her 4th principle, Kam Roop, it is her creative impulse which works from her center to the periphery of the globe. Her 5th principle, that is physical intelligence or manas, it is embodied in plants and animals. Now we know that in plant kingdom, the manas is not activated. It is in germ form. And plants, they can't think, but they can respond to emotions. Their astral is activated in plants. You know, if you keep a plant, a potted plant in a dark room, and there is a window through which a little bit of sunlight is coming into the room, then over a period of few days, you will find that the plant automatically, it starts growing towards the sunlight. So that that astral of the plant is activated, but the manas is in germ form. But in animals, the manas is activated and it mostly works through calm manas. So Earth's physical intelligence or manas, it is embodied in the plant and animal kingdoms. Then comes her 6th principle, which is buddhi. And the Earth's 6th principle is man, in whom we know that in man, the buddhi manas can be activated. So we are, the humanity is the 6th principle of this earth, her spiritual soul. And her 7th principle is Atma. Atma is the envelope or film of spiritualized Akash that surrounds her. Now, all elements, they are also septenary. So Akash is also septenary. And one of the lower differentiations of Akash, it surrounds the physical earth. It is also called astral light. So that is the envelope of this spiritualized Akash that is surrounding her, and it is her Atma. The 3 evolutions completed, the palpable globe begins to form. So we have seen the 7 principles of earth, what are they? And the 3 evolutions, after they are completed in that fiery, nebulous, cosmic dust, then it means that the 3 evolutions are the semi-intelligent forces of the mental, astral, and physical planes. Those elemental kingdoms, they evolve. And after that, the objective globe, it will begin to form. So the mineral kingdom, that is 4th in the whole series, because 3 kingdoms have already formed, the elemental kingdoms. Then comes the mineral kingdom, 4th in the series, but first in this stage heads the way. Its deposits are at first vaporous, soft, and plastic, only becoming hard and concrete in the 7th ring. 7th ring means that 7 classes of mineral, just like humans have 7 root races. So there are 7 classes of mineral. So only by its 7th class, it will become hard and concrete. Till then, it will remain very vaporous and soft and plastic because it's very fiery. The whole thing is nebulous and very fiery. And we are speaking about this life impulse on globe A after the solar pralay. So this is actually the first round or the first manvantar of a new kalp. And the mineral deposits are very fluidic. As the mineral entities, they will pass through all their 7 classes. Then in their last class, they will become concrete. In the next point, Mahatma Ji mentions, when this ring is completed, that means the 7th class of the mineral, it projects its essence to globe B. So when the mineral entities, they complete their 7 classes on globe A, then their life essence will pass on to the next globe B, which is already passing through the preliminary stages of formation And mineral evolution begins on that globe, that is on the globe B. At this juncture, meaning when the mineral evolution is beginning on globe B, the evolution of the vegetable kingdom commences on globe A. When the latter has made its seventh ring, its essence passes on to globe B. That means when the vegetable kingdoms will complete their 7 classes on globe A, then their essence will pass on to the next globe, to globe B. At that time, the mineral essence will move to globe C and the germs of animal kingdom will enter A. So from B, the mineral kingdom moves to C and the vegetable kingdom will come on to B and animal kingdom will enter globe A. So Mahatma ji has explained how the kingdoms evolve one after the other along these globes. As each of their 7 classes are completed, they pass on to the next globe. When the animal has 7 rings there, where? On the globe A. When the animal has 7 rings there, its life principle goes to globe B and the essence of vegetable and mineral move on. Then comes man on A, an ethereal foreshadowing of the compact being he is destined to become on our earth. Evolving 7 parent races with many offshoots of sub-races, he, like the preceding kingdoms, completes his 7 rings. That is, his 7 root races will be completed on globe A and is then transferred successively to each of the globes onward to Z. So similar to the other kingdoms, man also evolves on each globe through 7 root races and then passes on to the next globe. From the first, man has all the 7 principles included in him in germ, but none are developed. So all 7 principles of man that we know, Sthula Sharir, Linga Sharir, Pran, Kam, Manas, Buddhi, Atma, all are present in man in germ form when he first appeared on globe A on the first round of Earth chain. Okay, now we are in the 4th round and we are on globe D, the 4th globe. But when he first appeared on the first globe in the first round, that time itself, all these 7 principles were there in him, though they were in latent, because with each round, one principle matures. And this is very suggestive. In each of the rounds, he makes one of the principles develop fully. In the first round, his consciousness of our earth is dull but feeble and shadowy, something like that of an infant. When he reaches our earth in the second round, he has become responsible in a degree. In the third, he becomes entirely so. At every stage and every round, his development keeps pace with the globe on which he is, which means that the formation and evolution of the globe, it goes hand in hand with the formation and evolution of man. On whichever globe he is, A, B, or C, they are on different planes. So accordingly, the man's evolution progresses, and corresponding to that, the globe's evolution also progresses. The descending arc from A to our earth is called the shadowy, the ascending to Z, the luminous. We know the ascending and descending arcs. Descending arc is called shadowy because it is a descent into materiality. A descent into materiality. Physical plane is the most material, while in the ascending arc, it is called luminous because it is an ascent in spirituality. The planes become more and more subtle. So this is true of every cycle. For example, we talk about Krishna Paksha and Shukla Paksha of moon. We talk about Uttarayan and Dakshinayan of the sun. So the same holds good even for this Manvantrik cycle, descending and ascending. That is, it is called shadowy and luminous. We men of the 4th round are already reaching the latter half of the 5th race of our 4th round humanity, while the men the few earlier comers of the 5th round, though only in their first race or rather class, are yet immeasurably higher than we are, spiritually if not intellectually. Since the completion or full development of this 5th principle, that is the intellectual soul, they have come nearer than we have, are closer in contact with their 6th principle, buddhi. In this statement, there is a point to note, that is the meaning of spiritual, as Mahatma Ji tells us. To be spiritually higher means to be closer to the 6th principle, buddhi. That is what he's saying, that those men who have come earlier, they are closer in contact with their 6th principle, buddhi. So they are higher in spirituality. To purify our minds so that the buddhi manas shines and guides our personality. This is the meaning, to grow in spirituality. This is important because many times there is a confusion between people, among people, that what is the difference between being spiritual and being religious. So if we keep this in mind, we can clearly understand what it means to be spiritual. And religious is any of the religions who follow the tenets of the religion. So it is possible that a person may not follow any religion and still he may be very religious. Sorry, he may still be very spiritual. He may not follow any religion, but he may still be very spiritual. So the advanced men of 5th round, coming in ahead of their time, because we are currently in the 4th round, such men are spiritually immensely higher than ordinary 4th round men. And Mahatma Ji has used the term immeasurably higher because they are closer to their 6th principle, buddhi. The next point. Of course, many are the differentiated individuals even in the 4th round, as germs of principles are not equally developed in all, but such is the rule. So if there is an advanced comer from the 5th round, then obviously he is spiritually very high. But within the 4th round humanity also, some men may have evolved more and they would have come closer to buddhi, whereas some are yet far removed from buddhi. This is quite natural because the germs of principles, it develops at different paces in different people. And this is also the reason why each person is unique. Although all men have the same 7 principles, but their rate of development, that is different. Man comes on globe A after the other kingdoms have gone on, dividing our kingdom into 7. The last 4 are what exoteric science divides into 3. To this we add the kingdom of man or the Deva kingdom. The respective entities of these we divide into germinal, instinctive, semi-conscious and fully conscious. So science has classified 3 kingdoms of evolution: mineral, plant and animal. And as per science, humans are included in the animal kingdom. But the wisdom tradition classifies 7 kingdoms evolving on this earth. The first 3 are the elemental kingdoms, which science doesn't have any idea about. Then comes the mineral, plant and animal kingdom, which are also mentioned in science. But in the wisdom tradition, the humans are not grouped under the animal kingdom. They are a separate kingdom, which is called human kingdom or Deva kingdom. See, constitutionally in man, the manas principle, it can act as the buddhi manas, whereas in animals, it only acts as calm manas. In animals, there will never be a buddhi manas. It is only in man that the manas principle can tend towards buddhi, acting as the buddhi manas. And that is why humans are distinctly separate from animal. And so this occult science, it will not group humans together with animals. Whereas in contemporary science, they are held in one kingdom. Also, Mahatma Ji calls the human kingdom as Deva kingdom. This is very important. We are actually gods. That spark within us, the divine spark. So we are actually gods or devas in exile. And we have forgotten our true nature or our true source. This is what we have to realize and recognize. HPB had written, there was a time when once the devas roamed freely with the men on earth. So Mahatma Ji is calling this human kingdom or Deva kingdom. The entities evolving through the last four kingdoms, that is mineral, plant, animal, and human, they evolve from germinal stage in mineral to instinctive stage in plant. Instinctive meaning the astral is getting activated in plant. Then to semi-conscious in animals. Because in animals, the manas is activated, but it works through calm manas. And finally, to fully conscious in human, where the manas is activated, which becomes the buddhi manas. So germinal, instinctive, semi-conscious, and fully conscious. These are the stages in these four kingdoms. Next point. When all kingdoms have reached globe Z, they will not move forward but re-enter A in precedence of man, but under a law of retardation operative from the central point or earth to Z, and which equilibrates a principle of acceleration in the descending arc. They will have just finished their respective evolution of genera and species when man reaches his highest development on globe Z, on this or any round. Now, this may sound confusing to most of you, but it is really very simple. We spoke about the law of acceleration and retardation. This was mentioned in chronological letter number 66 also. So this law, it applies to the speed of development in the kingdoms. Say, for example, human kingdom or animal kingdom. And it states that the law of acceleration is dominant in the descending arc. See, just like in the round, that is the 7 globes, we have the descending arc and ascending arc. So also, when there are, within any one kingdom, when there are 7 classes, that particular kingdom will have its descending arc and then the ascending arc. So this law of acceleration is dominant in the descending arc, and it is counterbalanced by the law of retardation, which operates in the ascending arc. So acceleration and retardation is applying to the evolution within those 7 classes or 7 races. Now, in letter 66, it was mentioned that this law ensures that there remains a single highest race or class towards the end of one globe period. That is natural. We know that there will be 7 root races, but in the end, there will only the 7th root race will survive. The others would all have transformed or perished. Same applies to the other kingdoms also. The 7th class of mineral will remain at the end, or the 7th class of plants, or similarly for animals. Now, this same law, it also works to time the evolution of all the kingdoms through the entire round. What we saw in letter 66, that was on one globe, through all the 7 classes or root races. Now here in this letter 67, Mahatma Ji is saying that the same law also works to time the evolution of all the kingdoms through the entire round. That means through all the 7 globes, so that all the kingdoms will end their respective cycles together in the last globe. This is the meaning. And he explains the reason for it. He writes further, the reason for it is found in the enormously greater time required by them meaning mineral, plant, animal, to develop their infinite varieties as compared with man. The relative speed of development in the rings therefore naturally increases as we go up the scale from mineral. What this means is that the rate of development within these 7 classes or the 7 root races, for the plant, it is higher than that of mineral. And the rate in animals is higher than that of plants. So as you go to the higher kingdom, that rate also increases, the rate of development. But these different rates are so adjusted by man, stopping longer in the interplanetary spheres of rest for weal or woe, that all kingdoms finish their work simultaneously on the planet Z. Now, this I had mentioned earlier also, that it is only man who has to pass through the world of causes and the world of effects. So he will stop longer. His interplanetary rest will be longer. From mineral, plant up to animal, these beings, they don't have to pass through the world of effects because the law of karma does not apply to them as it applies to man. The different rates of development, they get adjusted because man has a longer period of rest between passing from one globe to the next globe in the chain. And due to these differences and the waiting period and different rates of development within the kingdoms, it ensures that all the kingdoms, they complete their development simultaneously on planet Z. So this law of acceleration, retardation, together with how man passes from one globe to the next, all of this ensures a timely completion on the 7th globe. The next point, the scheme with its septenary details would be incomprehensible to man had he not the power, as the higher adepts have proved, of prematurely developing his 6th and 7th senses, those which will be the natural endowment of all in the corresponding rounds. Our Lord Buddha, a 6th round man, would not have appeared in our epoch, great as were his accumulated merits in previous rebirths, but for a mystery. So we know that ordinarily man works with 5 senses, but he has the power in him to prematurely develop his 6th and 7th senses. The higher adepts have already done this, and this is how they gained the knowledge of the septenary rounds and globes. So we say that adepts are perfected men. It means ordinarily men like us, we also have the ability. We can speed up our evolution and we can prematurely develop our 6th and 7th senses, just like the adepts. And the proof of that is that they have come to know about these rounds and races because their senses were developed. The higher adepts have already done it, and that is how they gained the knowledge about the septenary rounds and the globes. In the subsequent round, all of humanity will also gain this ability. So in the 6th round, our 6th sense will be matured, and in the 7th one, the 7th sense. Because one principle matures in every round. Mahatma ji gives the example of Lord Buddha, who appeared in our age, that is in the 4th round. But actually, he is a 6th round being. Now, this, he says, is due to a mystery, and that mystery is not revealed to us. He says that individuals cannot outstrip the humanity of their round any further than by one remove, for it is mathematically impossible. What this means is, see, presently we are in the 4th round. It may be possible for a 5th round man to appear in the second half of our 4th round. Okay, but 6th or 7th round men, they cannot appear in the 4th round. This is not possible mathematically. If the calculation of the duration required for the rounds and then the intervening pralay period is taken, then it is mathematically not possible for the 6th or 7th round humanity to appear in the 4th round. But yet, Mahatma Buddha has appeared. So he says that, for it is a mathematical impossibility. You say, in effect, if the fountain of life flows ceaselessly, there should be men of all rounds on the earth at all times, etc. The hint about planetary rest may dispel the misconception on this head. So just as there is a rest period after man completes 7 route races on each globe and before he moves on to the next globe, so also there is a rest period after man completes 1 complete round. That means after all 7 globes have been done. So that period of rest is also there, which is equivalent to the Manvantar, before he can start a new round. And due to these intervening periods of rests, no man can advance beyond 5th round to appear together with the 4th round humanity. Next point. And now, as man, when completing his 7th ring upon A, has but begun his first on Z, and as A dies, when he leaves it for B, etc., and as he must also remain in the intercyclic sphere after Z, as he has between every 2 planets until the impulse again thrills the chain. So this is just what we explained above. Clearly, no one can be more than 1 round ahead of his kind. But Buddha was a 6th round being. That was an exception. And Buddha only forms an exception by virtue of the mystery. We have 5th round men among us because we are in the latter half of our septenary earth ring. In the first half, this could not have happened, which means that due to all those interplanetary and intercyclic rest periods, 5th round men, they can appear in the 4th round, but they can appear only in the second half of the 4th round. He says in the latter half of our septenary earth ring, that is second half of the 4th round. They couldn't have come in the first half of the 4th round. That is mathematically not possible. So in fact, to understand this, it is better if we consider an analogy. I'm sure all of you must be watching some sports, Olympics or Asian Games or something. Now you consider a race, like say a 700-meter race, and in which there are 2 players, A and B. So they run around the ground. Each lap is say 100 meters. This is just an analogy I'm using. So each round is 100 meters, a lap of 100 meters, and they have to run 700 meters. Now in each round, they have to stop a few seconds at 7 stations. And also after each round, again, there is a slightly longer stop. So when player A is running his first round, suppose if the player B runs faster, then he could have already completed the first round. Player B completes the first round and A is still running in the first round. Then the player B, he will start his second round and he will again catch up with player A, while player A is still in the first round. Okay, so this is what is happening. In our 4th round, the humanity which has progressed, they have run faster. They completed round A, they started round the 5th round, and they have caught up with us. So they are present in our epoch with us. The countless myriads of our 4th round humanity who have outrun us and completed their 7 rings on Z have had time to pass their intercyclic periods, begin their new round, and work on to globe D of ours. This is exactly the analogy which I have explained to you. 2 players running. Okay, so many people of the 4th round, they overtook ordinary people like us in their development, and they completed all the globes of our 4th round. We are on globe D, the 4th globe. They completed the next 3 also. And they also completed the intercyclic rest, which was there between the 4th round and 5th round. And then they started their 5th round already. And they have now reached us again while we are still in the 4th round. So this is how we have 5th round people coming in our 4th round. But how can there be men of the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 6th and 7th rounds? We represent the first 3, meaning the humanity, we, our present humanity. It is us only, we only have evolved through the 1st, 2nd and 3rd rounds and are now in the 4th round. That is the meaning that we represent the first 3. And the 6th can only come at rare intervals and prematurely like Buddhas. So 6th round men normally don't come. It is mathematically not possible. But due to some rare occurrence, some mystery, beings like Buddhas, they have come in this 4th round under some prepared conditions. And that the last named, the 7th, are not yet evolved. So 7th round men definitely have not come. They have not yet evolved. We have traced Pan out of a round into the nirvanic state between Z and A. A was left in the last round dead. As the new round begins, it catches the new influx of life, reawakens to vitality, and begets all its kingdoms of a superior order to the last. So this is how the cycles of rounds take place. When the first round or the first manvantar that gets completed, then there is an intercyclic rest period, which is the nirvanic stage for all the beings of that round. Round means all 7 globes are completed. Then when the time comes for the next round to begin, then the life impulse revitalizes the first globe as well as all the kingdoms to begin their next round. And all the kingdoms, they start evolving from a superior level than they had done in the previous round. After this has been repeated 7 times, comes a minor pralay. So if this has been repeated 7 times, that means the earth chain is over. Earth chain is over, so it will be a earth pralay or a planetary pralay, which Mahatma Ji has called here as minor pralay. And in this minor pralay, the chain of globes are not destroyed by disintegration and dispersion of their particles, but pass in abscond ditto. Meaning that the globes of the chain, they are not disintegrated and destroyed, but they remain inert and hidden. So this happens during the minor pralay or the planetary pralay. And from this, they will re-emerge in their turn during the next septenary period. When the next chain will begin, then these globes will re-emerge and the life wave will continue once again. Within one solar period of Pralay and Manvantar occur 7 such minor periods in an ascending scale of progressive development, which means that 7 earth chains and planetary pralay will be completed in one solar manvantar. One chain means 7 rounds. So 7 such chains will be completed. And after each chain, there would have been a planetary pralay also. So 7 chains plus 7 planetary pralay, they will be completed to form one solar period. That is called a solar manvantar. And each earth chain will be higher in development than the previous. I think we have time to take about 1 slide more and then we can stop. So Mahatma Ji summarizes the rounds, chains and the Surya Manvantar. He says, to recapitulate, there are in the round 7 planetary or earth rings for each kingdom and 1 obscuration of each planet. The minor Manvantar is composed of 7 rounds, 49 rings and 7 obscurations, 1 solar period of 49 rounds, etc. The periods with Pralay and Manvantar are called by Dikshit. Dikshit meaning initiated seers. They are called by Dikshit Surya Manvantar and Pralay. Thought is baffled in speculating how many of our solar pralays must come before the great cosmic night, but that will come. So here very nicely he has put the globes, the rounds, the chains and the solar manvantar. One round is 7 globes. Each kingdom passes through all 7 globes. After completion of one round, the planet goes into obscuration. All those 7 globes, they go into obscuration. Then comes the chain. So after 7 rounds are completed, so one earth chain is completed. This is called minor manvantar. So that means in 7 rounds, in effect, there were 49 globes, 7 times 7. And after which there is a planetary pralay. Then third is the solar manvantar. So in solar manvantar, 7 earth chains are completed and they make one solar period. What this means, in effect, there are 49 rounds because 7 rounds in one chain. So 7 chain means 49 rounds. And this is called a Surya Manvantar. And after this follows a equivalent duration of solar pralay. Then the subsequent resurrection of our planetary system will happen on a higher plane in the next solar Manvantar. Now, after solar Manvantar comes the universal pralay. This is universal pralay. He doesn't give the numbers for that. He just mentions that after unimaginable number of Surya pralays, there will be the cosmic or the universal pralay. So we can only imagine how many it will be. But in the Hindu philosophy, you will find it is mentioned that the solar Manvantar and then how many kalp there are in one day of Brahma, and then there are 360 days of Brahma in 1 year of Brahma, and then 100 years of Brahma, it forms the age of the universe. So those higher calculations are also there, but these numbers, they are not accurately given to us. We cannot make those calculations. So I think with this slide, we will stop here. And there are few slides, but we'll have to take them in our next session. And we should be able to complete the letter in the next session. So I would now invite Meenakshi to give us the translation in Hindi.
Namaste. Thank you, sister. आज हम लेटर नंबर 67 का उर्वरित पोर्शन ले रहे हैं। मास्टर कहते हैं, प्रत्येक सौर प्रलय के बाद हमारे सौर मंडल का पूर्णतः विनाश होता है और प्रत्येक सौर प्रलय के बाद हमारी प्रणाली का पूर्णतः वस्तुनिष्ठ पुनर्निर्माण शुरू होता है और हर बार सब कुछ पहले से अधिक श्रेष्ठ होता है। अब जीवन तरंग ग्लोब ए में पहुंचती है, या यूं कहे कि जो ग्लोब ए बनने वाला है और जो अब तक सिर्फ कॉस्मिक डस्ट है। अंतरिक्ष में फैले सघनित सौर धूल के धुंधले पदार्थ में एक केंद्र बनता है और 3 उत्क्रांतियों की एक श्रृंखला का क्रमवार निर्माण होता है, जो चर्म चक्षु के लिए अदृश्य होते हैं, अर्थात एलिमेंटल्स के 3 किंगडम्स या प्राकृतिक शक्तियां विकसित होती हैं। दूसरे शब्दों में कहे तो फ्यूचर ग्लोब का एनिमल सोल बनता है, या कबालिस्ट के अनुसार ग्नोम्स, सैलेमेंडर्स और अंडाइंस बनते हैं। इस प्रकार एक मातृ ग्लोब और उसके शिशु मानव के बीच समरूपता सोची जा सकती है। दोनों ही में 7 तत्व होते हैं। एक ग्लोब में एलिमेंटल्स उसके स्थूल रूप, उसके तरल लिंग शरीर प्राण तत्व बनाते हैं। उसका चौथा तत्व काम रूप केंद्र से परिधि तक कार्य करने वाले उसके क्रिएटिव इंपल्स से बनता है। उसका 5वां तत्व या मनस भौतिक बुद्धिमत्ता बीज रूप में वनस्पति और पशु किंगडम्स में सन्निहित होती है। उसका 6वां तत्व यानी स्पिरिचुअल सोल मनुष्य है और 7वां तत्व आध्यात्मिक स्तरीय आकाश की परत है जो उसे घेरता है। तीनों किंगडम्स के विकसन होने पर सुस्पष्ट ग्लोब बनने लगता है। पूरी श्रृंखला में मिनरल किंगडम चौथे क्रमांक पर है, लेकिन इस चरण में वह अग्रणी है। पहले तो यह नरम, बाष्पशील और लचीले रूप में जमा होता है। तत्पश्चात 7वें रिंग में सख्त और ठोस बनता है। जब यह 7वीं रिंग पूरी हो जाती है, तब यह अपने सारे तत्व को ग्लोब बी में प्रक्षेपित करता है, जो पहले ही निर्माण के प्रारंभिक चरणों से गुजर रहा है। खनिज विकास उस ग्लोब पर शुरू होता है। इसी समय ग्लोब ए पर वेजिटेबल किंगडम का विकास आरंभ होता है। जब उसकी 7वीं रिंग पूरी होती है, उसका सार तत्व ग्लोब बी में जाता है। इस समय खनिज सार तत्व ग्लोब सी में चला जाता है और एनिमल किंगडम के बीजाणु ग्लोब ए में प्रविष्ट करते हैं। जब वह एनिमल किंगडम के 7 रिंग्स पूर्ण होते हैं, उसका प्राण तत्व ग्लोब बी में जाता है और वनस्पति और खनिज का सार तत्व आगे बढ़ता है। इसके बाद ग्लोब ए पर मनुष्य आता है। हमारी पृथ्वी पर जिस स्थूल रूप में वह आएगा, उसका वह इथरीय छाया रूप है। सब रेसेस की कई शाखाओं के साथ 7 मूल जातियों का विकास करते हुए वह पहले वाले किंगडम्स की तरह अपने 7 रिंग्स को पूरा करता है और फिर क्रमवार प्रत्येक ग्लोब में स्थानांतरित होते हुए ग्लोब जी तक पहुंच जाता है। प्रथम से ही मनुष्य में 7 तत्व बीज रूप में अंतर्भूत है, लेकिन कोई भी तत्व विकसित नहीं है। प्रत्येक राउंड में वह किसी एक तत्व को पूरी तरह से विकसित करता है। पहले राउंड में हमारी पृथ्वी पर उसकी चेतना एक शिशु की तरह मंद होती है और क्षीण और धुंधली होती है। दूसरे राउंड में जब वह हमारे पृथ्वी पर पहुंचता है, तो वह कुछ हद तक उत्तरदायी हो जाता है। तीसरे राउंड में वह पूरी तरह उत्तरदायी हो जाता है। हर चरण में और प्रत्येक राउंड में वह जिस ग्लोब पर है, उसके साथ उसका विकास गतिमान होता है। ग्लोब ए से लेकर हमारी पृथ्वी तक के अवरोही चाप को छायामय कहते हैं। जी तक आरोही चाप को तेजोमयी, तेजस्वी कहते हैं। चौथे राउंड के हम मनुष्य चौथे राउंड की मानवता की 5वीं रेस के उत्तरार्ध में पहुंच रहे हैं, जबकि 5वें राउंड के मनुष्य, हालांकि वे उनकी प्रथम रेस में हैं, वे हमसे चाहे बौद्धिक रूप से न सही पर आध्यात्मिक रूप से श्रेष्ठ हैं। अपने 5वें तत्व की पूर्णता या पूर्ण विकास के कारण वे हमसे भी अधिक निकट अपने 6ठे तत्व बुद्धि तत्व के संपर्क में आए हैं। बेशक चौथे राउंड में भी कई ऐसे व्यक्ति हैं, क्योंकि हर तत्व प्रत्येक में समान रूप से विकसित नहीं होता है, लेकिन सिद्धांत ऐसा ही है। अन्य किंगडम्स के आगे बढ़ने पर मनुष्य ग्लोब ए पर आता है। हमारे किंगडम्स को 7 में विभाजित करें तो आखिरी 4 को विज्ञान 3 में विभाजित करता है। इसमें से हम मनुष्य किंगडम या देव किंगडम को जोड़ते हैं। इनमें से संबंधित इकाइयों को हम अपरिपक्व, अप्रगल्भ, सहज प्रवृत्ति वाले, अर्धचेतन और पूर्ण चेतन में विभाजित करते हैं। जब सभी किंगडम्स ग्लोब जी पर चले जाएंगे, वे ग्लोब ए में मनुष्य के पहले पुनः प्रवेश करने के लिए आगे नहीं बढ़ेंगे, लेकिन मध्य बिंदु या पृथ्वी से जी तक मंद गति के नियम यानी लॉ ऑफ रिटार्डेशन के तहत और अवरोही चाप में वह नियम गतिवृद्धि के सिद्धांतों को संतुलित करता है। जब मनुष्य ग्लोब जी में अपने उच्चतम विकास में पहुंचेगा, तब बाकी किंगडम्स ने उस दौरान अपने जेनेरा और स्पीशीज संबंधी विकास को पूर्ण किया होगा। इसका कारण मनुष्य की तुलना में उनकी अगणित किस्मों को विकसित करने के लिए आवश्यक अत्यधिक समय है। जैसे जैसे हम खनिज से ऊपर की स्तरों में जाते हैं, रिंग्स में विकास की गति स्वाभाविक रूप से तेज होती है। विश्राम के इंटरप्लैनेटरी स्फीयर्स सुख या दुख के लिए मनुष्य लंबी अवधि के लिए रुकने के कारण भिन्न भिन्न दरों को सुव्यवस्थित किया जाता है, ताकि ग्लोब जी पर सभी किंगडम्स का कार्य एक साथ पूरा हो सके। एक मनुष्य को सप्त संख्यक योजना यानी सेप्टेनरी डिटेल्स अनाकलनीय होगी, जब तक कि उसमें उच्चतर जीवन मुक्तों जैसी शक्तियां नहीं होगी, जिन्होंने अपने 6th और 7th सेंस को समय से पूर्व ही विकसित किया, जिसमें सभी आने वाले राउंड्स में नैसर्गिक संपन्न होंगे। हमारे भगवान बुद्ध जो छठे राउंड के हैं, वे हमारे युग में प्रकट नहीं होते। पिछले जन्मों में उनके संचित पुण्य अपार थे। यह लेकिन एक रहस्य है। कोई भी व्यक्ति अपनी मानव जाति के राउंड से एक से अधिक राउंड आगे नहीं जा सकता है, क्योंकि यह गणितीय रूप से असंभव है। आप इस पर कहेंगे, यदि जीवन प्रवाह निरंतर बहता रहता है, तब हर समय पृथ्वी पर प्रत्येक राउंड के मनुष्य होने चाहिए आदि। प्लैनेटरी रेस्ट पर जो संकेत दिया था, वह उपरोक्त विषय पर की भ्रांतियों को दूर कर सकते हैं। और अब जब मनुष्य ग्लोब ए पर अपनी 7वीं रूट रेस को पूरा कर लेता है और दूसरा समूह मनुष्य का दूसरा समूह ग्लोब जी पर पहली रूट रेस शुरू करता है, और जैसे जैसे ग्लोब ए मृत होता है, जब मानव बी के लिए रवाना होता है, और जैसे कि उसे जी के बाद इंटरसाइक्लिक स्फीयर में भी रहना होता है, जैसे वह प्रत्येक 2 ग्रहों के बीच के दौरान रहा था, जब तक कि उस चेन पर जीवन तरंग फिर से नहीं लहराती। यह स्पष्ट होता है कि कोई भी अपने राउंड से आगे नहीं जा सकता है। केवल बुद्ध रहस्य के आधार पर एक अपवाद बनते हैं। हमारे बीच 5वें राउंड के पुरुष है, क्योंकि हम पृथ्वी की 7 रूट रेसेस के उत्तरार्ध में हैं। उसके पूर्वार्ध में ऐसा नहीं हो सकता। हमारे चौथी राउंड की मानवता के अनगणित बहुसंख्यक मनुष्य जो हमसे आगे निकल गए हैं, और जी पर उन्होंने अपनी 7 रूट रेसेस पूरी कर ली है, उनके पास इंटरसाइक्लिक पीरियड को पार करने के लिए समय है। वे अपना नया राउंड शुरू करते हैं और ग्लोब डी की ओर प्रस्थान करते हैं। लेकिन वहां पहले, दूसरे, तीसरे, छठे और 7वें राउंड के मनुष्य कैसे हो सकते हैं? हम पहले 3 का प्रतिनिधित्व करते हैं, और छठा केवल क्वचित ही समयोपरांत बुद्ध जैसे समय से पहले आ सकते हैं, और 7वें राउंड के अभी तक विकसित नहीं हुए हैं। हमने ग्लोब जी और ग्लोब ए के बीच निर्माणिक अवस्था में एक राउंड के बाहर मनुष्य का अवलोकन किया है। ग्लोब ए आखिरी राउंड में मृत छोड़ा गया था। जैसे कि नया राउंड प्रारंभ होता है, वह नए जीवन प्रवाह को ग्रहण कर लेता है। जीवन शक्ति से फिर जागृत हो जाता है और अपने सभी किंगडम्स को आखिरी ग्लोब वाले से श्रेष्ठतर रूप में निर्माण करता है। इसकी 7 बार पुनरावृत्ति होने पर लघु प्रलय का समय आता है। ग्लोब्स की चेन उनके कणों के विघटन और विक्षेपण से नष्ट नहीं होते हैं, लेकिन वे लुप्त होते हैं। अगले सेप्टेनरी पीरियड में वे पुनः प्रकट होंगे। आरोहण के प्रगतिशील विकास में एक सोलर पीरियड में ऐसे 7 लघु पीरियड्स होते हैं। इसे फिर से दोहराते हैं। एक राउंड में प्रत्येक किंगडम के लिए 7 प्लैनेटरी या अर्थ रिंग्स होती है, और प्रत्येक प्लैनेट अव्यक्त होता है। लघु मनवंतर 7 राउंड्स, 49 रिंग्स और 7 प्रलय से बनता है। 49 राउंड्स का एक सोलर पीरियड होता है। प्रलय और मनवंतर के कालावधि को एक दीक्षित सूर्य मनवंतर और प्रलय कहते हैं। ब्रह्मांड की महारात्रि से पहले कितने और सौर प्रलय आएंगे, यह अनुमान लगाने में सोच चकरा जाती है, लेकिन यह होगा ही। थैंक यू। नमस्ते।
Thank you, Meenakshi ji. That was very nicely explained in Hindi. Thank you so much. It even becomes more clear to me when I hear it again. Okay.
So thank you so much. And can we request Mithalan ji to give the closing prayer?
I think there are a few questions, Vimal ji.
Are there?
Yes.
Okay. There is a question from Sheetal ji. Please explain intercyclic rest.
Intercyclic rest. See, we know that in one round, there are 7 globes. So in 7 globes, after each globe, there is a interglobe rest. And after the 7 globes are completed, that means one round is completed, then there is a period of rest before the next round starts. So that is called as the intercyclic rest. It is equivalent to the period of that round. And after that rest period, then the next round will start. So this is called the intercyclic rest. Sheetal ji, any further doubt on that?
It is said that Bhagwan Buddha and Bhagwan Maitreya are of the same state.
Yes, I am just going to add that history of Buddha. Actually, where I have read, I am forgetting that Buddha is a post. So when Buddha post is going to be vacated in this root race, because each root race has each a Buddha, and so the higher entity, they requested out of you two are now ready to hold the post. Out of 2 who will be prepared. So the preparation, preparation would be so difficult. So the Lord Maitreya little reluctant. So Lord Buddha at once ready. So the service and helping others started immediately, because the position was that at a particular time when before this race, all the holder of Buddha post, they belong to previous chain, either maybe moon chain or Venus, somewhere from. So Buddha is the Gautam is the person who belong to our own earth chain. So that is the one thing. So the sacrifice he rendered, if we go through the Jataka stories and other stories, other relevant papers, you will see that Buddha sacrificed a lot. So that for that reason he became, he is entitled to hold the post of Buddha post. And the next is now in the 6th root race, Lord Maitreya will be the Buddha. That is there in the theosophical literature, and the persons means the Buddhist followers also, they are accepting that there will be Maitreya Buddha in the future. Then one point I would like to add, there are 5th round human beings are there, that is Laos, Confucius there, and Mahatma Holy Ones mentioned clearly that 5th round persons are there. Then that is another point Vibha mentioned, that is a Deva kingdom. Deva kingdom relating to closely linked with man and also Devas. Here one point is that the self-consciousness means the higher entity which entered into the human being, human means at that they when the monad is ready, means when they the monad comes out of group soul, from its animal souls, the causal body is formed, then the first logos, Shiva Shakti, you can say, entered into this individualized causal body. So that means the higher manas, mind, higher manas, and buddhi, and also the atmic, that upper triangle entered into that body. So that is the reason. So as you rightly pointed out, that the animal being animals have no this self-consciousness, whereas man has that power. This much I have it.
There's one question that still puzzles me is basically when you say that Buddha can't come, I mean, the sixth round is is difficult in terms of time, but it doesn't make sense that even fifth round, how can this fifth round, because fourth round plare has to happen before the fifth round starts, but the fourth round is still going on. So
yes,
for me,
Bimalji, suppose now today you have decided that I will move faster, because the whole attempt of Theosophical Society to give us the future for what is story, what is for us to know. So today you have decided to sacrifice like Lord Buddha. So you will move faster than all the human beings.
Yeah,
And,
but then that means that simultaneously all the rounds are going on at this point. Like fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, all are going on now. Then only I can move ahead. No? But that's why
that
I
is
personally understand this little differently. I understand it.
you go through the animation. So animation in Advaita Master, she mentioned clearly that if a man can take the water given in the Advaita Master, if there you could say about 100 lives you require to complete this your time. But if you take the whatever given in the Advaita Master, you followed it strictly, and in 2-3 lives you can complete.
Yeah. So basically, that's what I'm just trying to say this. I understand what you're saying. What I'm trying to say is when we talk about the sixth round man, we're talking about the quality of man. We are not talking about a man who has completed rounds. In a physical sense, he has the quality of what all of us will be in the sixth round, or when you talk about fifth round. So it is so that is why the matter of time, though that's the puzzling thing in this, that he says mathematically it's not possible. Now there is the mathematics involved when it's a quality of being. So I don't know whether you can see that. I see there is some dichotomy and it's not very clear.
No, the question is now the world is moving fast. The spiritual world also moving fast. They are giving that 607 years, sixth subrace is coming. And the Lord Maitra given whatever teachings is the world can accept given through Krishnamurti. And Krishnamurti, it is said that it is now time you go to time to timeless. Instead of pursuing everything and just you move faster, then you can move more faster. So maybe another 2-3 lives you can be reach that level. Anyway.
See, I would like to add here one thing that as Pradeep ji has rightly pointed, time and space, it is applicable only to this physical, astral, mental. And when we speak about traveling faster, it doesn't mean like something like sitting in a rocket and completing the lap faster. Like I gave the analogy of 2 players going through a race. No, it is basically a movement in consciousness, because there is no time beyond that sphere. So it is a movement in consciousness, and it is just for the sake of making Hume understand that he has given that mathematical equation.
But that mathematical is not there, because there's no mathematics when it's in the quality of consciousness which is improving. There is no
How
time.
can he make Hume understand? Just to make him understand, he has to give it in the way he can follow it.
I think these are things, they add few things which confuses. I personally think they added something to confuse.
Yeah.
Will add something.
He wants to say something.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
A very nice question Vimalji has asked. it is very difficult to have clarity about all these divine plans, because we should have trust. If you trust God, everything will be all right. So like that, we have living faith in the masters of the wisdom, and they have given this knowledge through the Mahatma letters. And we are trying our best to understand and make it clear. And Vimalji has understood very well. She explained nicely in a simple manner, mathematically,
Vibhaji, not
scientifically. Vibhaji. And Vimalji has asked, how is that other round people are here when it is going on fourth round or fifth round, whatever it is. Other round people, how they are here. So we are studying this earth chain. We don't know. Those who are other round people, they might have completed their evolution, complete evolution on the other globes. And they have come over here to help the humanity.
to help
Maybe,
the-
we don't know, but let us believe in it and let us go deeper and deeper. I hope then we will convince ourselves how great knowledge is given. And it is all secret actually. They were
Yes.
not allowed to discuss in public also previously. Now we are discussing because we are intellectually evolved, trying to understand the deeper meaning of all this. This is what I want to add, nothing else, but explained very nice. I enjoyed the lecture, Vibhaji. Go ahead.
Thank you,
Okay,
sir.
sir.
Hopefully, we'll complete this letter in the next session. And there are very few slides left. So, Pradeep ji, if we have more time, then we can just summarize the last 2-3 letters because they are all on the same topic.
Yes, yes, yes. You can summarize here.
Yeah.
And you also have to add clarity to why, if there is no pralaya between the fourth and fifth round, then only this is possible. What? Buddha coming in the fifth round. You understand the question, no, Vibha, what I'm saying?
Pralaya-
There is no pralaya then.
See, he has clearly mentioned that Buddha has come due to a mystery. He hasn't revealed the mystery to us. So we
Yes.
cannot speculate on that. Okay. So we should leave it at that. And as Pradeep ji says, we should, and Shinde sir also mentioned, let us take some things. Maybe when we evolve to that level, it will come within our understanding.
Masters has given us the freedom to think whatever we can think.
Yes, ji, very true. It is always
Actually,
nice
things
to
to
hear
develop our intellect only we are, if it takes years to understand this part. According to me, and this one letter we can keep doing for 1 year to understand it clearly.
It's a very long letter. We are taking 4 sessions to do it. That's a lot.
But I feel we need diagrams, lots of diagrams. We have to have arrows. You have to look every passage. We need to break it
No,
open.
the attempt is to create curiosity or attempt to make you a good student of theosophy and to know what Mahatma tried their best to give us. And it is up to us how we can develop ourselves and how we can develop our intuition to learn all these things. It is not that myself or Vibhaji or Shindeji or N.C. Krishna will give whatever for us to understand. Our attempts also required that we should be prepared for prepare your diagram, prepare your then only we can understand a little. Because Mahatma, in one of his letter, if we correlate everything and all these things and present in a proper form, then we can be a good student. We can go higher in a, and can be more helpful to the humanity. And a Theosophical Society is such a platform. They have given us to everything to know our progress, our how far we can go, what has happened, so that we can move faster in our journey. So that is the reason they have given, they have taken so much pain, means so much attempt given to only to know what is future for us. Okay, we'll complete.
Thank you so much, sir. It was very nice to have you today here on the platform and discuss with us.
Thank you.
Yes, Vimalji, you would like to close the session.
Yes, I request Mitalini, please, to say the closing prayer. Thank you.
Namaste to all.
Namaste.
Om. Asato ma sadgamaya tamasu ma jyotirgamaya mrityurmang amrutangamaya sarve bhavantu sukhinah sarve santu niramaya sarve bhadrani pashyantu na kasyit dukha bhag bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Namaste. Thank you all for joining.
Thank you, Vibha. You are wonderful.
Thank you, Shitalji.